Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody had a lovely day and a blessed evening. I also hope that everybody had a peaceful and relaxing weekend. I know where I am at, it was raining and gloomy all weekend. The weather, like the temps was pretty decent, but there wasn't really an opportunity to see sunshine maybe, but for like an hour of the whole day. So yeah, it was lounge around lazy weather, and I didn't do much of nothing but chill with my children and watch TV the majority of the day. So, yeah. And I just want to apologize if I have to keep clearing my throat. I just ate some cereal and I ate it with oat milk. I don't know if I've ever had that, but yeah, it's causing like me to have to keep clearing my throat after eating that bowl for whatever reason. So, not that I'm saying don't try it. It's amazing and it's good for you. Just, yeah, maybe it was the cereal in particular I ate. So, anyways, it's completely off subject. So, let's go ahead and get into this late night tip. Tonight's affirmation is mistakes will not define me, they will mold me. And I think it's crazy how I pulled this affirmation tonight because it correlates with yesterday's previous video about loving ourselves and accepting ourselves for who we are. Because maybe I'm wrong, but I think I actually mentioned that mistakes is kind of what builds our foundations of who we are. And that can't be more truer than anything I've probably processed and learned with my own mistakes. Because without our mistakes, how would we even know what to refrain from or what we don't want or do want out of life? So let's just ruminate on this for a minute. Say, for instance, you're having a conversation with either somebody you just met who's done heard about some things you done did, or a family member or a loved one who wants to bring up something that done happened from your past. Now, that conversation can go one of a few ways. It can go down a insecure path where you start doubting yourself for that mistake that happened in your life, and then you get triggered by all these emotions that you thought you done healed from and processed, but hey, it got brought up again, so therefore you're being shown to deal with it again. Or you have conquered those emotions in that situation that happened or that mistake you made, and you rose above it and you never made that mistake again because you learned from it. So, I think we've probably had experiences from both ends. And, I think the important thing to remember is, we're supposed to mess up a lot. And what do you really learn from doing things perfectly? What do you learn from a relationship that's always happy, you're not fighting, you get along, you got everything in common? Sometime or another, something's going to crack because it's just so perfect. But you don't know how to fight through it because y'all haven't had that issue rise above to where you had no choice but to fight through it, if you get what I'm saying. Or say you aced a test that you didn't even study for. What did you really learn besides answering all the questions correctly? I think my point is you got to struggle a few times in the journey to understand and appreciate for what it's worth. You have to fall a couple times, you have to lose everything a couple times, and not even a couple times. It could happen once to several times. It just really depends on how well you're accepting what it is that you're choosing to do, the mistakes that you're making, or the failure in the process. And I like to think that failures are only a merely lessons learned, because they kind of are, until you actually grasp the point of why you're not getting the results you're looking for, or the solution to a problem, or why you keep repeating the same thing over and over. Until you grasp and understand why it keeps occurring, then it's going to keep occurring and it's going to come in different forms. So you may learn not to do something a specific way, but then try it again with a whole new, okay, for example, take a person who cheats in a relationship, okay, and they get caught. So they can either understand that they are in a unhealthy relationship and that they need to change their ways and appreciate the person they're with and work through them, or they try to come up with a better scheme or a better way to go about things. What does that end up doing? Probably blowing up in their face and causing them to go through the same mistake all over again, but in a different way. So you either learn from it or you continue to keep on trying to take the easy route. And there's that saying, anything worth having isn't easy, and anything easy isn't worth getting. So, keep that in mind when you mess up. It's going to be hard. It's going to have a trial and error as you get through it and as you go along throughout your journey and the path that you're taking. I feel like you don't appreciate the rewards in the end without those fuck ups. And that's what they are. Like, our mistakes are what mold us to be the person that we are when we are matured and healed and growing in life, and who we are to our children and our friendships and our relationships and in our career. Like, our mistakes is what teaches us what not to do. How would you know what you deserve in a relationship or out of a friendship or in a career, what the type of position you're applying for? How would you know what you deserve if you haven't been mistreated before or been disrespected or then had heartache or then been betrayed? Like, those are all those negative aspects to experience. I feel like have a positive resolution to them as long as you don't keep making them. And and I know everybody's heard the saying, it's not a mistake if you keep repeating it, it becomes a choice, which is very true. Mistakes are merely lessons learned. You didn't do something the way that you thought you could, and boom, it messes up. Oh, well, there's a mistake I made. I won't do that again. Or maybe I need to tweak it a little bit so it doesn't turn out that way again. Boom, that's a mistake. A choice is when you continue to keep on doing that same issue and expect a different result. And we all know how that goes. You keep on doing the same thing, wanting a different result, you're just going to keep on getting the same lesson over and over and over. And frankly, for one, personally, I don't want to keep learning the same lessons over and over. And, there's some situations in my life I had to continue to keep repeating until I caught on to what it was I was supposed to learn. So I know that was a lot. Just keep in mind that you are allowed to mess up. You are allowed to do silly things and not be perfect. Like, we are imperfectly perfect as our own individual selves. And I know there's been times where I've messed up and all I've tried to do is just stand in what I've learned and what I know and go about situations differently in my life, and coming and behaving that way towards somebody who hasn't put in the work. They're not going to know how to take you or understand you, and that's okay. And sometimes you just need to love from a distance and back away from anybody who can pretty much harm your growth process in whatever path you're trying to take. So don't take it personal when somebody doesn't understand that you're not trying to repeat the same mistakes in life. Like, it has a lot to do with cycles in your life. If you grew up doing the same thing over and over, or you had the same type of unhealthy, patterns taught to you over and over, you have that choice to break that cycle. Are you going to keep repeating that and teaching that to your youth and everyone around you and being an influence in a negative way? Or are you going to break that cycle and stand in your own individuality and honor that you have the choice to not keep on making that same mistakes? Don't let it be the reason why people look at you differently. Be the reason why you are not afraid to own up that you have had mistakes, that you've made mistakes, and now you will keep on making them. Just be smart about it. Don't be gullible to think that, oh, I didn't know any better, but you knew better because this is the 6th or 7th time you've made that same mistake. Come on now, get real. So, yeah, just, think about that the next time you mess up. It's okay. But if you don't like how you feel or the situation it puts you in, it's up to you to change that. So yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed this affirmation, and if you were brought to this video, then this affirmation was for you. If you haven't already and you like the content on my page, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Again, all of my posts kind of there's a variety, okay? Like, we don't do just the late night tips on here. I also bring you a little bit of every other thing, and I've got a couple other projects in the works, so don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button. And I hope everybody has a blessed night, blessed day whenever you choose to watch this. Much love and light to each and every one of you all, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks.